Good evening, and thank you for using NYNJPA weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. Well, for New York City and Philadelphia, basically the biggest impact over the entire region is an area of low pressure that is currently about 80 nautical miles off the New Jersey coast. This low pressure system is going to continue to intensify this evening as an upper level low exits into the Atlantic, and as that happens, scattered showers are going to continue to increase throughout the region. The good news is that the majority of the heavy rain will remain off the East Coast. So while there will be scattered showers, especially along the New Jersey coast up through Long Island and southern Connecticut, the heavy rain will remain to the east. So I'm only expecting about a half an inch of rain at most for most locations along the New Jersey coast, lesser amounts as you move inland, barely a trace as you move into northeastern Pennsylvania. Once this low pressure leaves, much better conditions can be expected as high pressure begins to dominate from Thursday morning all the way through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and yes, even into next week. So basically, once we get through this low pressure exiting into the Atlantic this evening, the weather conditions are rapidly going to improve with high pressure taking hold and high temperatures returning into the lower to mid 80s on Friday and mid to upper 80s by this weekend, possibly into the lower 90s on Sunday and Monday, especially over the Philadelphia metropolitan area. So while not much is really going on over the northern Atlantic, the tropical Atlantic looks like it's still rather active. We had some surprising information about Danielle this afternoon. It just came out at 5 p.m. And basically, Danielle has gone through some weakening. I believe this has happened due to the fact that some dry air got into the circulation, and as a result, Danielle has weakened into a tropical storm down to 60 mile per hour winds. Now, I think this is temporary. The National Hurricane Center thinks this is temporary, and in fact, convection is already starting to rapidly redevelop around Danielle this evening. So, for the most part, I think what we're going to see is Danielle re-intensify into a hurricane, probably get into a Category 2 strength before starting to feel the influence of a strong trough to the west. The forecast is still the same as it has been for the past couple of days. Danielle will continue to move to the west-northwest and start to curve to the north under the influence of a trough by this weekend and into the northern Atlantic by the beginning of next week. At this point, I still think there is a potential for Danielle to become a major hurricane. However, that threat has diminished some because of its weakening. I also want to stress that the key feature over the next couple of days is that trough that will be moving off the East Coast on Friday. If that trough is a little bit weaker, slower, further north, then the potential for Danielle to move closer to the East Coast will increase. Right now, I don't think that's a threat, but it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Now, further out into the Atlantic, around the Cape Verde Islands, we have another disturbance that is starting to develop. This one's going to probably be a tropical depression either by 11 p.m. tonight or by tomorrow morning. It has a well-developed low-level circulation, a pretty impressive outflow as well, considering it's not a tropical depression yet. And there really isn't much in the way of inhibiting factors from this disturbance from developing into a tropical depression and eventually a tropical storm over the next 3 days. Where will this disturbance go? I think it's going to follow a similar path to Danielle. If Danielle interacts with the northern Atlantic polar jet, then what we'll develop is an east-based negative NAO, which would allow this disturbance to track a little bit further west than what Danielle was able to do. But for the most part, we're going to have to wait and see exactly how well this disturbance develops. As we've seen this tropical season, even though conditions have been favorable for development, the tropical disturbances just have not come through as far as developing into strong tropical storms or hurricanes, which is a good thing. So that's the coverage for this evening, and that's most of the news for the northern mid-Atlantic. Enjoy the rain, because once it ends, well, it's going to be sunny and beautiful for the rest of the weekend. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for using NYNJPA weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic.